Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are ignoring the fact that I haven't blow dried my hair yet again, and we are also ignoring the fact that the lighting and background is a little bit strange because it is before 7 a.m. in the morning because I want to get this video filmed before I start work. Today I am bringing you the tier ranking of every single book that I read in 2023. Now, this is a list of, I think, over 170 books, so we're gonna rattle through this very, very quickly. There's not gonna be any summaries, and I don't have my actual star ratings in front of me for the star ratings I gave all of these books, so this is very much just on vibes. So let's crack straight in. On the screen now, you should see every single book that I read in 2023 down below here, and then my tier ranking system. So I've got these three little hearty faces for books that I absolutely loved, these three smiley faces for books that I enjoyed but weren't like god material 5 stars. We've got this sort of neutral faces like, didn't really care about it, didn't really feel either way about it. This little questioning face is kind of like, I'm a little bit questionable about this book and I did not enjoy it, so I'm kind of questioning the author's choices here. And then this last one is like, straight up, this shit made me mad. So we've got Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. This was very much a questioning the author's choices kind of read for me. Didn't make me mad, just didn't make me happy. Same can be said for King of Battle and Blood. It was just what it was. The Ex-Hex, however, I really had a lot of fun with that one. I thought that was so cutesy and so just fun and witchy, and I read it over Christmas, so the wrong time completely, but it was one of the first books I read in my Beat the Backlog series. Had a grand old time. Within These Wicked Walls was very much a questioning the author's choices kind of read. I just did not understand that book in any sense of the word. I thought it was so disorganized. Heartstopper Volume 5, I mean that goes straight up to God tier. Any book in the Heartstopper universe is God tier for me. This is the latest book in Nick and Charlie's world, and it's all about how Charlie is dealing with the fact that Nick's gonna go off to university and Charlie's gonna be left behind, as well as the sort of residual impacts of everything that we dealt with in Volume 4. 100%, I think this shit should be read in schools. It's incredible. We Hunt the Flame. Let's pop I think when I first started reading this book, it very much would have been a smiley face, but thinking about it now, and by the time I got to the end of the book, I'm gonna put it in neutral because I stopped having a very good time with it by the end. Next up, we've got Infamous by Lex Croucher, which I'm not mad at. You know what? Actually, no, I'm gonna put it in mad at the author's choices because this author, I've found more and more over time, is kind of leaning on very traumatic experiences and the character experiencing very traumatic things in order to facilitate any kind of growth. I don't appreciate that. And there's no trigger warnings for it or anything. It's just, I'm not a fan of that. Little Bang by Kelly McCoffrin. This was one of the first arcs I read from the collection that I got at Yalk, and it was 5-star standout god material. I would recommend that you read it if you're okay dealing with teen pregnancy and mentions of abortion. That is very much the focus of this story, but it's all about like a woman's right to choose when she finds herself in a situation that she isn't prepared for. Next we've got, The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. Ben really wants me to read some of his old favorites, and The Color of Magic was the first one. I mean, as much as I know he wants me to put it up here or even here, I'm gonna put it in neutral because I didn't hate it and I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't connect to it. And I think I'll like more as the series goes on because it uses footnotes and that kind of thing. But for now, I'm not a fan. Penance by Eliza Clark. I mean, to be honest, I don't really remember what my issue with this book was. I just remember that I had one, so it's not enough of a thing for me to hate it, but it's not enough of a thing for me to even feel neutral about it. Yours Truly is 100% 5-star god material. I think that book was incredible. Wildfire, had a good time with it, wasn't anything amazing. Gonna go in number 4. Final Offer, that was 5-star god material. I thought that was so emotional compared to the other 2 books in this series, which I also read towards the end of 2023, so they'll come up in a bit. The 7 Year Slip, I'm gonna pop her in question mark because I remember thinking that it was just really slow paced. The Right Move. Now this is a different cover than one I expect, so it took me a minute to like remember what this was, but The Right Move is the second book in the Windy City series by Liz Tom Ford. I think I had a smutty good time with this, but it wasn't 5-star, so she's gonna go in smiley faces. King of Pride and King of Wrath. I'm sorry, I'm mad at these. I'm so mad at these because I loved the Twisted series by Anna Huang, but these were so disappointing to me because they were just so blah. The Fine Print, I'm gonna pop her in smiley face because she was really good, but she wasn't quite Final Offer. Not So Meet Cute. I mean, if we're going off of enjoyment, then 100% she belongs up here. But if we're going on like book quality, then she goes down here. So we're gonna average it out and put her in the middle. Mile High, I'm gonna put her in the smiley face. I felt good about that book, felt good about both those books in that series. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, again, gonna go in the smiley face. I know for a lot of people she's god tier, but for me, just didn't quite hit the mark. One Italian Summer, I'm gonna go neutral. This is a really beautiful book about a daughter who loses her mother, or no, her aunt. Either her mother or her aunt, I can't remember. And so in order to feel connected to her, she goes on a holiday that they planned before, I think it's her mother, passed away. And then when she gets there, she meets her mother, like a past version of her mother, and she gets a chance to reconnect with her, learn about secrets and things that were hidden from her when she was a kid. It's a beautiful story. The Darkening, I don't remember anything about this book. So I guess I'm gonna put it in neutral because I don't remember even whether or not I liked it. Not my problem. Love this little high school sapphic romance. She's gonna go with smiley face. The Forest Grimm, I'm gonna question the author's choices because I thought it was really slow and boring. Blockshot, I think she goes in middle one, I think. Because I can't really remember. I feel like that's gonna be a thing with a lot of these books. Yeah, I'm gonna put her in middle because I don't really remember. And same for Irresistible by Melanie Harlow. I don't really remember anything about that book. Then we've got Those Three Little Words by Megan Quinn. She's gotta go down here. And you know what? I'm gonna bring a Not So Meet Cute down here as well. I think they're more bad books than they are neutral books. Longshot, I think, was really emotional and I think I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna put it up here in smiley face. I think I had fun with that one. Still Beating, however, was just fucking weird. So I'm gonna put that in there. Indigo Ridge, I'm gonna put in neutral because I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was particularly 5-star material and it wasn't really what I expected going into it. Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I thought that was cozy, fun, adorable, sweet. It was so wholesome. I'm told it's like Under the Whispering Door, I think, by TJ Klune, so that's made me even more excited to read that book because I had such a good time with the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It's about a woman, I think, who's like a bit of an influencer and an actual witch, and she goes to look after and teach these 3 young girls how to use magic, and it's just this beautiful found family situation. Do No Harm, I don't really remember much about that book, but I remember I didn't think it was amazing, so I'm gonna put it in the question mark thing for the author. How to Kill Men and Get Away with It, I got so bored by that book and that character pissed me off. So I'm gonna put her in angry because that main character was just so full of herself and so irritating. London Seance Society, I've got to put her in questioning eyes because the first book that I read by Sarah Penna was The Lost Apothecary, and that was like 5-star god material. I read that year before last year now. But London Seance Society did not live up to the hype. Death Around the Bend, Lady Hardcastle Mysteries by T.E. Kinsey. I really usually love these, but I think this one was pretty neutral for me, so she's gonna go in the middle. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I think I had fun with that one. Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. Again, I had a really good time with that one. That was like it was such a weird genre blend of like witches, so like fantasy, but then murder mystery, but then also like second chance romance. And it was a whole thing and it was fun. It was really fun. The Castaways, I gotta put her in smiley face because she really kept me on the edge of my seat for the majority of the read. And yeah, the reveal at the end bugged me a little bit, but I still think it was a fascinating read. Crown of Midnight, I mean, let's be honest, anything by Sarah J Maas is gonna go in god tier. Like, we don't even need to discuss that. Assistant to the Villain as well. Oh my god, god tier. I had such a fun time with that story. I thought it was so sweet, so cute. This whole villain and his assistant, and he's like reluctant to admit that he's in love with her. I just thought it was so adorable. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm gonna put it in mad. I'm mad at that book because I hated how it ended, though I have bought another book by this author and for some reason I think I'm gonna enjoy it more. Then we've got These Twisted Bonds and These Hollow Vows. I think these are gonna end up in the same one. And we're gonna put him in smiley face because I enjoyed my time. They're love triangle fantasy romances, definitely for fans of like Sarah J Maas and all the rest of those sorts of authors. You know, they were good. It was very much a love triangle that's actually a love triangle. You don't really know who she's gonna end up with until the very end. And I don't think even she knew who she was gonna end up with until the very end. So that was enjoyable, but at some point, I think in These Twisted Bonds, I was like, okay, just decide already. I've had enough now. The Heart Principle by Helen Huang is 100% god tier. I mean, I was so hesitant to read this book because of how everyone had told me it was so emotional, but it was incredible. Daughter of No World, she's gonna go on question mark because I don't understand why everybody loves it so much. Done and Dusted, question mark, but mostly because I don't remember half of it. I just know I didn't like it. Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I think Smiley Face. None of these were God tier for me, but they were fun. But then anything by Elsie Silver, especially in the Chestnut Springs universe, is God tier for me. I read this whole series this year. I didn't read Hopeless though, but still the whole series, and it was incredible. Another Sarah J Maas, she goes in God tier, obviously. Things We Hide from the Light, and you know what, let's just do Things We Never Got Over as well. They're both gonna go in this smiley face bit because I enjoyed all of them. They made me realize that romantic suspense is really my thing. November 9, I don't know what to do with you because it made me mad, but it also made me feel so much. You know what, I'm gonna put her in smiley face because I had such visceral reactions to this book, but it also made me really mad. The Frontrunner and Photo Finish, both by Elsie Silver. I know I said anything by this author is going in God tier, and it is if it's in the Chestnut Springs world, but these aren't. These are in the Gold Rush Ranch, I think, world, and I enjoyed them. I think they're her first series, but I didn't think that they were, you know, best thing she's ever written. She, I think, came into her own in Chestnut Spring. Magic Bites, I mean, I used to love that series by Alona Andrews. It's an husband and wife author duo, I think, but now I'm just kind of mad at it. Saga Volume 10, I think the magic died for me a little bit after Volume 9. Gods and Monsters, you're gonna go in smiley faces because I had fun with you, but Blood and Honey, you didn't need to exist. So you're gonna go in neutral face. This is in the Serpent and Dove series by Shelby McEwen, and Serpent and Dove should be in here somewhere as well. It's like a witchy series. This Vicious Grace, I don't really remember very much, so you're gonna go there. Hades and Persephone retellings. You know what? We're gonna go neutral because they were fun, but they're not exactly incredible. So that's A Touch of Malice and A Touch of Ruin, which are books. I wanna say 3 and 4 in the A Touch of Darkness series, but that could be completely wrong. And I know A Touch of Chaos is coming out this year, and I'm really excited to read it, which is the last book. Drowned Woods, I don't really remember anything about you, so you're gonna go in neutral. There's a lot of books that I don't remember. That's really embarrassing. The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I love this series, so I'm gonna pop you in God tier. I know you probably don't belong there, but that's what I felt about it. Ladies Guide to Fortune Hunting. I mean, yeah, it was fun, but I think it could have been way more exciting. It's about these two sisters who, like, I think they've run out of money and their family's in a bit of a scandal, and so one of them is determined to marry rich, and I think the guy that she's like targeting, I guess, is either fully aware of what she's doing or his best friend is fully aware of what she's doing. I can't remember which one it is. And so it's all about them trying to like thwart her attempts to marry rich, and it's good fun. The Shadow Cabinet is God tier because obviously the conversations in this book are just incredible, and I love how placed in the real world it is. This is the second book in the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series by Juno Dawson. Lore Olympus, anything in this Hades and Persephone slow burn, pining, swoony romance is going in God tier because I think it's just amazing. It's the gods told in a modern context, and you get the perspectives of a lot of the different gods, but it also doesn't shy away from those more difficult topics, and I really appreciate that. Love Theoretically, you're gonna go in smiley face. Actually, no, you know what? Love Theoretically, you're gonna go in neutral because it wasn't nearly as good as the other two books in this sort of STEMinist series. The whole complication in the story was over halfway through the book, and that kind of made it really confusing. Something Wilder by Christina Lauren, you're gonna stay in these questioning eyes because Christina Lauren, I loved some of their early stuff that I read, not their early stuff in terms of when it was published, but in terms of what I read first, like The Soulmate Equation, and there's one of The Unhoneymooners, but then every single thing that I've read since then has just been a miss for me. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace is gonna go up in smiley face because she was a fun hockey romance. In Memoriam, oh my God, God tier. That book lulled me into such a false sense of security by the end and then destroyed me. Just saw the camera and we're already like 20 minutes in, so let's push through. The Testaments by Margaret Atwood, God tier, 100%, loved that book. The Skeleton Key was the most boring mystery that I have ever read. Iron Flame, you made me a little bit mad, so you don't get to go God tier, you get smiley faces. Terms and Conditions, again, wasn't quite final offer, so it's on par with the fine print. Fourth Wing, you were God tier. Everybody knows it. Everybody who hasn't read it needs to. It's incredible. God tier. Sequel wasn't as good. Kismet Connection. This was another arc that I received in the year. I'm kind of neutral about it. And same with A Song of Salvation. Not really my thing. Less to do with the authors, more to do with me. Twin Crowns, Smiley Faces. Had good time. Wasn't quite God tier, but I am keen for the other 2 books in the series. I think it's a trilogy. Hamnet. Oh my god, this book destroyed me in the best way. Off to the races. Where are your friends? You're in Smiley Face, so you guys can all go in Smiley Face. Die Life Aunties, Jessie Q Sutante makes me mad. I'm sorry. All of her books make me mad. I don't like them. Powerless by Elsie Silver, your Chestnut Springs, so you're God tier. That's where you belong. Falling Half of the Royal Guard. Oh my god. She made me dislike the Tower of London, which is hard to do because it's my favorite place in the world. Fence, the whole Fence series, I didn't really care for. I thought it was just really slow, and I ended up kind of hating the vast majority of the characters, so they're all going down here. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, I'm gonna go question mark on the author. The audiobook was strange, and the noises that were made in the audiobook were strange, so she's gonna go in there. Anything Could Happen by Lucy Diamond. Let's go neutral. Wasn't horrible, but wasn't amazing. Violet Made of Thorns, again, let's go neutral. I don't really remember what I felt about that book. True Crime Story got me kind of mad by the end because the reveal just came out of nowhere. Her Majesty's Royal Coven, I mean, that is God tier, obviously. Poster Girl by Veronica Roth. Yeah, let's put her in here. She just wasn't great. The Wicked King by Holly Black. I can't believe I didn't remember that for a second, but The Wicked King by Holly Black. I don't really know where to put that. I think it was fun. I think I had a good time. All the Tides of Fate, very, very neutral. One Dark Window, fun, had a good time. I'm keen for the sequel. I've just bought that, and I think it's just a duology. Anything by Richard Osman is God tier. That's just how it is. It's such a wholesome series of murder mysteries about a bunch of people in an aged care facility who meet on Thursdays to solve murders until one day murder shows up on their doorstep and they have a real life mystery to solve, and it was just so good. Portrait of a Thief felt so one-dimensional, so it made me mad, so it's gonna go down there. Reputation by Lex Croucher. Again, I'm gonna put her down there because she seems to rely on trauma for any kind of character development. The Bone Season, Smiley Face, had a good time, and same for The Pale Dreamer. I am keen to read the rest of this series, though I'm probably gonna have to do a reread of these 2. The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, I mean, that's God tier. That was, the writing of all of that was just hilarious. It's all about these women, I think in Victorian era England, whose houses fly and they are pirates. And it's just hilarious. It's the most nonsensical thing you'll ever read. Happy Place made me mad because it was a repetition basically of people we meet on vacation, I think, and I was mad at that. And same for The Christie Affair, that made me really mad because it put Agatha Christie's whole disappearance in the context of she was just mad at the dude she was in love with, and it can all be solved by falling in love with another dude, and I just got really irritated by that. Sadie was God tier. I think that was such an inventive way to tell a mystery through a sort of podcast, I guess, kind of approach. All the Stars and Teeth, neutral. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. This Woven Kingdom, again, pretty neutral, didn't love it, didn't hate it. Lore Olympus, Volume 1, I reread her every single time a new Lore Olympus book comes out, so she is God tier. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, we're gonna put her in Smiley Face with our little friend The Wicked King because I reread this series, or at least the first 2 books in this series this year, and had a great time. Not a Happy Family, question mark for the author, I don't really remember anything about that. Bad Girl Reputation and Good Girl Complex both bugged me. They are these like seaside romances. One's about a good girl falling in love with a bad boy, one's about a bad girl falling in love with a good boy, and they both are so cliche. Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. She's gonna go in Smiley Face because I really appreciated that in this story, it follows these teenagers dealing with like life and death situations, and they actually act like teenagers rather than, you know, 5 minutes going from no idea what's going on to I can rule the world, which is the issue I'm having in Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi at the moment. Really good, actually. That was God tier. I love how throughout the whole story you thought you were dealing with the truth, and then you kind of find out that the main character's lying to you. Like, she's the most unreliable narrator, and I had such a good time with it. I think God Killer as well, I had an amazing time with. It's the first book I've ever read from this author. I can't remember if she's a debut author or not, so that would make sense, but yeah, it was a good time. Gallant by V.E. Schwab made me mad because I think it was too short for what it was trying to do. And it was very much one of those situations of a girl arrives at a house and all of a sudden within a couple of days, everybody is willing to die for her. And I'm like, you just met her. Anything in the sort of, I think is it Briar U or is it no, this is the Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy. Anything in that series was really fun to me. So The Legacy, The Goal, these are all a series of hockey romances, I think, set at Briar University, and they were all just a fun time. The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, I felt kind of neutral about that one, so she'll go in there. Saga, all the other ones. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna put them all in neutral because, don't get me wrong, I liked them and I thought they commented on real world issues in a very, very interesting way. This isn't really my genre. This isn't really something that I enjoy. This isn't something I'm gonna continue, and I didn't get emotionally attached. They were just kind of easy, quick reads for me, so they're all gonna go in neutral. Twisted Lies, I got mad at this one. Let's be honest, I got mad at this one. Oh, we're losing space on the page. I really hope this is still gonna record. I got properly mad at Twisted Lies because it was kind of like a whole story based around a stalker only to find out the stalker is the love interest. And it's kind of like, oh, that's creepy. It Starts With Us was god tier for me. I know it was so fan servicey, but I had such a good time. The Maid made me mad. I don't want to get into it. I have a video about it. Go and watch that. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it for you. Agatha Christie, god tier. I think anything she writes, and I say this having only read one book, is amazing. Shadowhunters, I'm gonna put it in question mark because this whole series just got, I mean, reading this with an adult brain is kind of like, okay, we're going into the incest ballpark. Fun! Jeremy Clarkson, god tier. I think the way he comments on regulation around farming and all the red tape and his own experience trying to be a farmer is hilarious. So that's gonna go in god tier. And so is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I think it's the most inventively written murder mystery that I've ever read, and a really interesting take on the whole Groundhog Day kind of situation. Red Queen, I'm gonna go in neutral because I had a good time, but I remember nothing. The Deal, where are all your friends? All your friends are here, so you will go with them. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm gonna go neutral. I've loved a lot of the other books by Taylor Jenkins Reid in this sort of rich people problems world that she does, but Malibu Rising was just a bit of a letdown, and A Fatal Crossing was just bad by Tom Hendel, so you're gonna go in just bad. Daisy Jones and the Six, however, you're gonna go in smiley face because I had a lovely time reading you. We are gonna have to scroll down so you're not gonna be able to see the god tier thing because I'm running out of space. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Where are your friends? Because you get to go with them. The Lost Apothecary was god tier for me, so I'm gonna pop that up here. Maybe I can zoom out. Okay, I figured out how to zoom out, and also we don't have many left, so let's power through the last of these. The Hating Game made me mad. I think it is just reinforcing horrific stereotypes about romance and about the whole if he pulls your hair he loves you sort of thing. I think it was horrific. Burial Rites, however, made me cry in the best way, so that's gonna go up in god tier. Daughter of a Moon Goddess, I think was just so blah. It was just a real letdown, and I thought it was gonna be so beautiful and lyrical, but it was just so blah. The Passenger is the most fascinating story about a man's sort of descent into mania as he's trying to run for his life. It's set towards the beginning of sort of Nazi Germany really taking power, and it's just a fascinating story about a man hopping on and off trains in order to escape the Nazis. Love on the Brain was big old smiley face vibes, so that is gonna go in here. Serpent and Dove, again, I think, where are your friends? Your friends are here. One of them is, the other one's in neutral, but Serpent and Dove I think was a really great beginning to that series, and I had a good time with it. The Roommate, I'm gonna go kind of mad at that author because I thought they could have dealt with the sex positivity in a really exciting, innovative way, but it ended up just kind of being judgy. Whereas It Ends With Us, we'll go in god tier. I know that makes me a stereotype, but I'm not mad at it. Her Soul to Take made me mad. I think it was just 99% smut and bad smut nonetheless. Weather Girl, smiley face, not quite god tier, but don't get me wrong, she was still pretty good. Waking the Witch was just neutral for me. It was kind of a King Arthur-y retelling, but I don't think it was just executed very well. I think it needed to be a series to really delve into it more. The Ex Next Door was the worst thing I've ever read. It's like you find out about the actual love interest in the last 30 pages of the book, and throughout the rest of the book it's just the main characters acting poorly and expecting different outcomes. What did you think was going to happen? Of course people hate you when you cheat on like 6 people and like 5 of those people are lovely people. Saga, you're gonna go with your friends in this little neutral tier for all the reasons that I said before. So let's just pop you in there. Heartstopper, I mean, like I said, Heartstopper. Anything in that world is God tier. You know what? I'm gonna put you with your friend. Gonna have to scroll a little bit. Astro Pocket Doesn't Fail. That is God tier for me. Anything I think Ashley Herring Blake writes at this point is just gonna be read by me, and I'm gonna love it because that's just how it works. Kiss My Cupcake was a weird romance. I think it was attempting to be like enemies to lovers kind of thing, but ended up being 2 people who hated each other for 5 minutes and then were just really inappropriately sexual with each other from every point after that, and it was just uncomfortable. So that's gonna go in I'm mad at the author. The entire Guild series by Raven Kennedy. So that's Guild, Glint, Gleam, and Glow, and I just bought Gold, which is the 5th, I think, out of 6 books total. I'm gonna put these all in the same spot, but I don't know if that spot is smiley face or neutral. You know what? I'm gonna be nice. We're gonna go smiley face because I enjoyed them. I had fun with them. I think they did make me feel things. So they're all gonna go in smiley face. This is gonna take me a minute because my computer is now struggling with the fact that there are so many pictures on this screen. And it's just like, you need to give me a break. Glow, last one on that series. Come on, you can do it, laptop. Sorry if you can hear the clicking in the background. I should have said that at the beginning. In the Market for Murder, which is the book just before The Death Around the Bend by T.E. Kinsey in the Lady Hardcastle Mysteries series. This one was fun. I'll put her in smiley face. I think the other one went down here somewhere. Yeah, the other one went into neutral, but I think that one was fun. Final Girl Support Group, I'm gonna say I was mad at that author. I don't like Grady Hendrix. I don't like horror. I don't know why I read this. War of Two Queens, I'm gonna put some question marks up. Actually, no, you know what? I'm gonna put it in smiley face because it was the first book in this series after the sort of original 1 or 2 where I actually enjoyed it, and that was because the main characters spent the majority of the book apart from each other. That says a lot, I think, about this series. City of Ashes, you're gonna go with your friends in your little question marky bit. Heartless, I mean, this is the book that got me into the Chestnut Springs universe, so of course that is God tier. And very, very lastly, we have got Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. Where did I put your friend? Because that is where you are going to go. You weren't amazing, but you weren't bad. Yep, you're in neutral. There we go. Juniper Hill by Devney Perry in neutral. This is the tier ranking of every single book that I read in 2023. This is a very long video, so I do apologize for that, but hopefully you enjoyed hearing about all of these books. Do let me know in the comments down below, out of these books, if you have also read any of them and what you think of how I've sort of spaced them out, if you would move any of these books around, or just let me know what you're reading at the moment, loving it, hating it, all that kind of thing. Come and chat to me in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It's a super, super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye.